Yet again on a wonderful episode on Know Thyself. We have our experts with us, Father Michael Karimatam, who teaches scriptures at the Mary Mata Seminary, and also Sister Glorista, who's done a doctorate in counseling and training people on counseling. So welcome, Father. Welcome, Sister. Welcome. So this day we decide to discuss a little bit more on the story continued from the prodigal son. We have another important character in the story, who is the elder son. Let's see what insights our experts have to share with us today. Yes, Father.
Okay, Anand, the other day we have done only half or part of the first part of the story. And now let me read first the second part. Then we'll discuss. Luke chapter 15, verses 25 to 32. Now his elder son was in the field. And as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what this meant. And he said to him, "Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has received him safe and sound." But he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him. But he answered his father, "Lo, these many years I have served you, and I never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your living with the harlots, you killed for him the fatted calf." And he said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to make merry and be glad, for this your brother was dead, and he is alive. He was lost, and is found." So this is the second part of the story. So you see a contrast. And the contrast, we have to keep in mind what we read at the beginning of the chapter. So I read it once again for your information. Mm-hmm. Chapter 15, verses 1 and 2. This is the context in which the parable is placed. Now the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to him. And the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, "This man receives sinners and eats with them." So this is the situation. So the society is divided into the tax collectors and sinners on the other side, the so-called holy hypocrites on the other side, the Pharisees. Mm-hmm. So who complain? Now the two sons become representatives of the two communities.
Wow.
The first part, you have the tax collectors, sinners who have squandered their wealth, they are real sinners, but they realize that they are sinners and they want God's mercy and they come back. They repent. They come back, shub, they call. But here, the very conversion of these tax collectors and sinners make the Pharisees and the holy people angry and jealous, perhaps, I don't know. Now, the second son represents the so-called holy people. Mm-hmm. And every word is chosen. So the elder son was in the field. Here's the elder son. Came and drew near to the house and heard the music and dancing. He doesn't go and find out, but he called one of his servants and asked what it meant. Mm. Why doesn't he go in? Something wrong. Something very strange is happening in his house. And then he gets information through second hand that your son. So your brother, always you see your brother, and this man doesn't consider as a brother. So the emphasis on your brother. Your brother has come. Mm-hmm. And your father has killed the fatted calf. Mm. So that is a point of emphasis, the fatted calf. The fatted calf is not a just fat calf. It is something specially chosen, specially grown. It's kind of like the corned beef or something. It's a calf that was set aside to be slaughtered on a particular special event. Oh. So this is the center. Father found this return of the lost son as a special occasion for great celebration. And this somehow offends the son. The younger one has already squandered all his wealth, and we'll see later. So the fatted calf becomes an important point here. So this is a day of celebration, and he doesn't want to go in. Then comes the father. So here again, the situation of the father is important, interesting. Then he was angry and he refused to go. His father came out and entreated him. The same way, the father comes out to meet the younger son, the father comes out to meet the elder son. The younger son has a realization of his sinfulness and his ingratitude, and he is unhappy, he is repentant, and he comes. But this man, the elder man, there comes out the real, the hypocrisy of the person. He answered his father, "Lord, these many years I have served you." So he feels himself as a slave, as a servant. In his father's house, the property is his, but so the laws, how is he considered? The laws are enslaving and served you, and I never disobeyed your command. A holy person, like the Pharisee going to pray. No? Yet you never gave me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. So he had all the intentions, inclinations, desires, but he was afraid. So his thoughts are totally different from his deeds. There's a difference between heart and deed. No? That's what you call the mask.
Right.
The facade, the masquerading. But when this son of yours came, see, it doesn't say my brother. This son of yours, it doesn't belong to me. He has somehow cut off the relationship. The servants say, your brother has come. Now he says, your son has come. And who has devoured your living with hearts? Something is missing. Your money, living with harlots. And who told him that? It's not in the story. Jesus doesn't say he spent the money, maybe drinking or whatever, that really went with the harlots. That is his own intention. So once the younger son comes in, the mask falls and the real person comes out. So behind the mask of your holy prayer and obedience, there is something very, very sinful inside. So he was not doing actually, but he had done. So he imagines, my son, brother, I would have done that. I would have liked to do that, but I'm afraid. So the question comes, what is more important, doing it actually, or just thinking and doing it again and again in your mind? And here Jesus once saying is important, A person who looks with lust at a woman has already committed adultery in his home. So this man, thinking that his brother has been doing, and he is doing it in his own self. So everything is okay on the outside, but inside it is so dirty. But then he goes on to say, and he said to him, son, you are always with me, and that all that is mine is yours. So this man, the son, doesn't realize what the love of the father means, and all this. And now it was fitting to make merry and be glad. Here, what the father wants, both. He doesn't want the younger one to be lost, nor the elder one to be lost. But what father wants is both the elder and the younger together. The scribes and the Pharisees should, together with the publicans and prostitutes. That is what Jesus sees as the house of the Father. But the decision is not made. So when the story ends, the younger son is inside, the father and the elder son is outside. And it is you to decide where you want to. Do you want to say enter? So the parable is putting a challenge.
Wow.
And interestingly, every parable, every story is a story about yourself. So it is very interesting to listen to the story, but when the story ends, that is when you realize, this is about my story. So now it is up to you to put yourself. Where do you stand? Inside the house or outside the house? Are you with the younger or with the elder? And I think sister will have more to say about this psychological, personal impact about this elder son.
The younger son had went away and became slaves to his suffering, slaves to the family. But the elder son, he was in a way was a slave to his own desires, but he never gave himself freedom. He never asked his father, can I have a kid, or can I have my friends come here to marry? He took it for granted that he is not allowed to do any of those things. He was a person who is so strict with himself that he did not allow himself to do anything he wanted.
Right.
And when you restrict yourself like that, then you look at the people, those who are enjoying freedom, and you criticize them.
It's like a forced obligation.
Forced obligation,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
And you don't allow freedom yourself to do it or to enjoy it. God has given us a lot of gifts to us. We have to enjoy it. He doesn't want to have somebody to be more so and sad in that sense. A happy person who accepts like we said about the wall around the well. If I accept that wall, I'll be safe. If I try to climb over it, I'll be in danger again. And the same way, the restrictions and the laws I have, if I consider themselves as restricting me, it's a two-way of looking at the same thing. One is saying that, okay, I am safe, I can walk around even when there is no light. The wall around the well is there and I'll hit it and I can go back. Or I can say that I can climb over it, see it as, gee, I could have gone inside there and there they put a wall in there and I have all these problems here. There are people who does not allow themselves to enjoy anything in life. What they will do is that they will say, I am supposed to do this, and be very strict. And anybody who takes the freedom to do the other things, they criticize them. If I want to do something and I see all the desires he suppress, there is a difference between suppression and in the sense of allowing yourself. You see all the desires who are there, to squander the monies, to spend it, to be free, and all these desires were there. But he was suppressing all those needs. And when such suppressed feelings are pushed in there, it turns into anger.
But what do you do instead of suppressing? For example, this young man, he had all these desires as his younger brother. So what would you think in a concrete situation, what should he have done?
He could have
how are
done.
you going to do?
You know, see, one thing is that he was not aware of the love of his father and the care for him. And he was not free. He said, I have been serving you. I've been working like a slave for you in that sense. But the father was thinking he is being a good son, doing everything, and they say. But if he had the freedom with the father, Father, I have some friends coming. Okay. Would you give me this and that to enjoy with them? He never asked. He never even felt the freedom to do it.
Maybe I could bring an example from our Bible comics stories. Yeah. Sister used to work, we were working together at Sandesha Bhavan, Telisheri, and the work was so much. We were publishing 6 language editions at the same time. We had to take the picture, draw the picture, take it to the press. They take the photo, the copy of it, make a negative, bring back, go back. So I was doing all this errands. Sometimes we'll have to sit down till 10, 12 at night, and maybe early morning go by the train. And I think the sister was, why do you work all this? So don't you have any free time? Now usually we work from 9 to 4, but for sister, I don't know how sister was taking it. Now, if I was telling, you have to do it, I can't force anybody. And if I force somebody to work overtime, yeah, that person will be unhappy. Ask her how she felt about it.
I felt it was a privilege in the sense. I enjoyed doing it. It is being a workaholic in that sense too. And in the sense I felt that even when others did not see the value in it, the decision I made to stay there was in the sense saying that I could have gone, of course the invitation was there to the States and work there, but if I stay here, it will create something else.
Right.
And so it was a decision I made. It was nobody. And the people used to ask me, don't you have any time off? Don't you want to do? I said, what am I going to do? It's not the time off that meant, but when a book is printed and brought it there, that is the joy. And never he asked me to do this or that or anything else. I would be doing it on my own in that sense. And so I did not consider it as that I was doing his work. I was doing my work. And the attitude created more energy in that sense.
Right.
One night when they came, we had gone someplace, came back at 1 o'clock, and I was drawing the thing. He says, why are you not going to bed? You are still. I said, we have to send this tomorrow because somebody have asked for this space mark sheet. And that, whether father was there or not, it didn't matter to me. He said, this is to be done, so I was doing it. And there is a joy in that sense.
Right, right.
And I was not, I never felt like being a slave in that sense, or I felt like being forced.
So this is the difference, you see. The elder son, he thought he was forced to do that, and he was not allowed to. So it is in inner attitude. The younger son, he felt, and he was ruffian, he went in, but then he realized and came back. So now this is, I think the critic is more against this kind of mask, hypocrisy.
Correct.
And Jesus was complaining. Jesus was always criticizing. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites.
Right.
You know, the hypocrites, the word hypocrite comes from hypokrinein. Hypokrinein is a Greek word to answer. It comes from the stage, drama. So in those days, it's in a drama or film, you impersonate a character. And you are saying something, not your own, but of the character. And in the Greek drama, they used to wear also a mask. So if you are playing the role of a king, you wear the mask of a king, of a slave. So that is the mask you are wearing, and you are supposed to reply. Hypokrinein means to reply. So you are not saying your own word, you are saying something else. So there is difference between your identity and what you are doing. So that's why they pretend to be holy, but inside not. That's a hypocrisy. And that's what Jesus is against. And here he come to the first son, who is a thoroughbred hypocrite.
And I think again, the attitude is that what makes the difference. Okay, I can work from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock midnight night. Gee, I have to do all this, I have to, we can complain about it and do. I'll say, gee, I am privileged to do these things. And it makes a difference in the sense, the kind of energy it will give me and the way I am doing it. If somebody is forcing me, it's like driving a car with the brake on.
Right.
It will not move. But if I put it on the drive, it goes.
And to be honest, the two of us, we have worked so much that in 6 years we brought out these 50 booklets, Bible comics, simultaneously in Malayalam, and she was doing English. And now it has gone out into 16 different language editions.
Wonderful.
It has gone all over the world. The last was China. Now they are making, trying to make translations into German, into Italian, into Swahili, into Sinhala. And they have also animated cartoons out of it.
Wonderful.
So, nobody forced us to do this. Nobody was. So when you find the meaning in what you're doing, and you see this is your vocation, you are put here to do that. That's how I felt doing, and even now. So do I want doing the work? Nobody forces me to do that.
So there's a powerful indication on working out of obligation and working out of independence of God.
Conviction.
So these two guys, we see like. But then God expects us to be much more on that loving, like how he showed, as you mentioned, you said, in the same way he came to welcome the younger one also, he came to welcome the elder one.
So, but then there is a problem. The elder one is always, he is living in a dream, not in
fantasy.
Fantasy. He was imagining everything that I also would have done that, but unfortunately I cannot.
So I think he was projecting his desires.
Exactly. It's not projections.
It's of the same persons. I see it here. Two sides in us, in the sense.
Right.
One side, just to go, let go free and everything.
Exactly.
The other side, restricting. But
two extremes.
Two extremes. When you integrate them, we have a healthy personality.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can go back to how Jesus speaks about it. He says, I am the light. I came so that those who are blind may see, and those who see may become blind, but still he remains the light. He strikes the balance there. You know? So that's beautiful, actually. Yeah.
And so this is the attitude that the two sons. And finally, this is a story, I said, in a parallel. It's a parable.
Yeah.
And now, if you go a step further, why did Jesus speak in parables? Very often we say Jesus spoke in parables to make everything clear. That's not true. Nothing is made clear.
It's not clear.
So then Jesus had to explain it. And then the story is told to make you to decide. The importance of the parable can be best understood from the story of Nathan. That is one of the typical parable. The parable of the rich man slaughtering the sheep of the poor man. So you know the story. So the rich man had thousands of sheep, and there was a poor farmer who had only one sheep, and that is as is a daughter for him. She used to eat from his plate and lie down, sleep in his bosom, and he was like a daughter. And when a traveler by chance came to the rich man, instead of taking one of the thousands of sheep he had, he took by force this sheep and slaughtered it and prepared. David became angry. That man shall die, and he has given it fourfold. Now comes the reply. You are the man. That is parable. So the story makes such a situation. You have a kind of vortex of emotion. You are drawn into it.
Right.
And not knowing what you are saying, you have condemned to yourself. That man shall die. So the death sentence was pronounced on himself. So that is a story. That is a parable. Now you have two sons here. And there are people there. There are the Pharisees and there are the publicans.
Wow.
Now, this story is a simple story. It's beautifully presented. And for example, if you go a bit further, Franco Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth, a beautiful film I have seen so many times, more than 100 times I have seen and shown. And there is this story is situated in the house of Matthew, the publican. Jesus comes to the tax stand, and Levi is called, and Levi is happy. He goes and prepares a meal. And at the evening, Jesus goes with the disciples. The disciples do not want to go. Peter by no means, you shall not go. No, he went on. And Peter remained in the boat. He didn't want to go. But after some time, he felt so uneasy, and he goes. And then Jesus is talking. As he sees Peter, Jesus tells this story. As this story comes here, the director puts the younger man as Levi and the elder son as Peter. And Peter realizes that. And then he enters the house and they embrace each other. So this is the story. So both have to learn.
Wonderful.
Yes, so the story, we have to learn both, especially those who think they are pure, they are holy, they are right because they do all the rituals. So the religion is turned into rituals and cult rather than a cult of heart. So instead of love, you have put all this cult, and then you keep on complaining, criticizing. You are not happy yourself, you don't make others happy.
You criticize the people, those who doesn't do all these things. Yeah. I have done this, and I have fasted so many days, I have prayed so many hours, I have done this, and what have you done? I haven't done anything. And this is the kind of things in that sense. So when we make numbers,
Correct.
and put down the other person.
Quantity.
Quantity.
No quality.
Quality.
So this is a real revealing, on the one side, revealing the heart of God.
Right.
God who is a father. On the other side, putting a mirror in front of us. Where do you stand?
That's why I say the real freedom is to do what you have to do. When we don't have the freedom to do what we have to do, then it becomes a problem.
Not what you want to do.
And also love what you have to do.
Love, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do it.
Be passionate,
willingly.
Put your heart into it, yeah.
So you are doing something, and I would have liked to do that and this and that. No.
I think that's why even Jesus calls us to love the Lord your God with all your heart.
Yeah.
All your
I
mind.
remember we had a small saying in a small room: "Bloom where you are planted."
Bloom where you're planted.
Bloom where you're
Beautiful,
planted.
Beautiful. Bloom where you're planted.
So it is been given to you. You have been placed by God here. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't dream of the other side.
Right,
So,
right.
and that's what the elder man is doing.
That's an insight, beautiful insight, yes.
So, bloom where you're planted. That's what this man is doing. Okay. Okay.
So that's a beautiful insight in this episode where we understand who the real character that we are. As Father was saying, that there's a mirror kept in front of you and also the Father's heart. And that wonderful insight also which says, bloom where you're planted. Let's learn more from these episodes and understand that we are planted for His kingdom to bear fruit by knowing ourselves through Him. Till we meet in another episode, God bless you. Thank you, Father.
Thank you.